to the vibe where your dreams take flight. Cortez, so you know we're gonna shine so bright. Unity is how we ride. Join us in this journey and we'll take you to ride, yeah. We'll take it a ride, no. We'll take it a ride.
Welcome to Cortez Co, the Journey podcast. In tales we weave, authenticity we breathe. Through unity and strength we achieve. Join us in this journey and be empowered to believe. Today we are joined by Desley Robinson, a remarkable figure whose life story encapsulates the true spirit of resilience and empowerment. From professional boxing to overcoming personal hardships, Desley's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance and strength. Thank you so much for joining us, Desley.
Thank you for having me.
Do you like it?
What an intro.
Were you like,
you're going to make me cry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so what we're going to do, thank you so much for joining. How you doing?
I got to be tough. Boxer.
Yeah.
Good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Nervous?
Nah, I'm all right.
Especially not on the boxing ring, hey?
No, God,
Big
no.
difference.
I mean, afterwards, if I get interviewed, I don't know what I say. I'm like gibbering.
Yeah, what is it like? So you finish a boxing fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously you get interviewed. How was that like?
I've had some terrible ones. I had this one fight and it was like a 53-second fight and it was it. She was done. So I had Channel 7 and as I walked out, Channel 7 were like, Desley Robinson, that was really, really good. And I was just like, and I couldn't get my words out. And all I said on live TV was, I was just getting rolling. And then that's it. And then the guy just was like, yep.
This was a shit interview.
And I was just like, I'm so embarrassed.
How many times have you had that?
As in like saying something bad all the time.
You'll never be able to prep for it though.
Oh God, no.
You're there for a fight, not to be interviewed.
Yeah.
Not to be interviewed after.
And I think I ramble too. So if someone asks me a question in my head, I'm like, I wonder how many potatoes are in a potato bag. And I'm like, hey, what? And then I try to answer.
Way.
It's just, I just veer off.
Yeah.
Just weird. Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to play a little bit of a game first, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Play a little bit of a game. We've got these Sherbet dips.
Right?
Yeah. Are you allowed to eat these?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm on weight. I'm not.
Okay, cool. Did you watch the Ryan Garcia?
Yes, what an upset.
Oh, fuck.
I think it's pretty cool.
Who are you going for?
The other guy. Yeah.
Devin?
Devin, yeah.
No.
I liked his outfit. It was like it just rolled out of bed, like slippers and like comfy pants.
They didn't even look like they were tied up.
No.
I was like, what the heck?
He's going to roll an ankle.
But I just thought, man, Ryan on his antics.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
I didn't watch a lot of the lead up, but I seen a lot of the craziness.
He was
and I
going.
was like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, he was on one, And I was like, holy crap. So I'm just cutting this just so it's easier for you to get the for you to get the thing. So what this game is, all right, you have the first round to guess to have a feel and have a taste what they are. Second round, you'll be like, okay, you have to close your eyes, you have to try to guess what they are.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. But I don't want to touch the stick because obviously
that's right.
My dirty germs.
You should see where my mouth guard lives.
Oh yeah, true. In your bag?
No, not on the bag. I pull it out and then I'm like, I'll just leave it on the bench and then come back. I'm like, there it is from yesterday. My coach was like, do you want to wash that? And I was like, nah, it's too late now.
How is it with the mouth guard when you box?
Easy because it's a fitted one. So when I was a lot younger, obviously we couldn't afford a proper mouth guard.
Yeah, right.
So we would just get white ones from the pharmacy, which is fine. Like if people want to do that, go for it. But then when you put a fitted one in, oh man, it just feels so much better.
Hey?
And I still have the same mouth guard for I think it'd be about 15 years.
Holy
it's green with glitter in it.
What? That's pretty cool, 15 years.
Yeah, it's like, it's getting tight because obviously your teeth move.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was like, this is so not in fashion. I'm like, green and glitter.
Yeah. That's like real primary school stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll grab that, okay?
Yep.
So you'll have the first flavor, which is fizzy orange, sour apple, and
oh no, you're telling me what they are.
No. You get the first round to understand what they are.
Okay.
Then the second round, you have to try to guess them while your eyes are closed.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'll obviously got to make sure you lick it so that way it sticks to it. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, bring your mic forward a little bit. Okay. So we'll sit forward and then we'll have the first one.
All over me.
So don't spill on my carpet. Otherwise you're vacuuming.
No. Add it to my list to do.
Yeah. Taste that. Okay. So next one.
Oh, these are good.
You like that?
It's like my childhood.
No, the next one. Cross.
Oh, cross.
Yeah,
oh no.
Yeah, there you go. So this is tangy. I don't know what that flavor is.
That one, I think I know what that one was.
Okay. So this is the first round that you understand the flavors, right?
Yep.
Okay, you understand the flavors.
Okay, what's the other flavor?
So you have
orange.
So in this round, you're able to see it.
Yeah.
So I think the other one is like a raspberry.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
definitely
so
raspberry. Yeah.
go to the last one now.
This one.
Did you go to the last one?
I've done that one. Yep.
Or this one in the middle?
Yep.
Yeah.
This one.
So
Okay.
try that one. Just to break the ice a little bit, you know?
Oh, damn.
You like that one? What's that one?
That's a good one.
That one's sour
It's
apple.
like is it? Or it's just
Okay.
lime.
So now you have to guess which one it is. Okay. With your eyes closed. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? All right. So pass that packet. All right. So close your eyes now.
Yep.
All right. And then I'll give you the dip. All right. Close your eyes.
I'll look at.
All right. So there's 3 flavors: fizzy orange,
Yep.
sour apple, or tangy berry. Okay. All right. So look at it a bit more. Sorry. All right. And then, all right, dip it in there.
Okay.
Give it a good dip.
Have I got it?
Yep. Try that.
Oh no. What the hell is that? That's not on the thing. That is disgusting. Now it's hot.
I'm so,
What a stitch up.
so what? I'm so
Well
sorry,
played,
Desley.
well played.
I'm so
You're not
sorry.
sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So
Brown.
it's pepper and baking powder.
What?
So I had 2. I pranked you.
Oh, you. I'm not your friend.
You can put that back in there.
Give me another flavor to get rid of that.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted you to guess
Wow.
and get into the habit of, oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I was enjoying it, but not now.
oh, I love that. So before this, I made a video and
That's why the water's here.
yeah, I made a video about what I'll be doing in this prank.
Oh, yes.
And so I was like, I can't let her try all 3 and then have it in there somewhere because she's obviously going to have to try it.
Because I was looking at the blue and I'm like, okay, that's going to be like berry or something.
Yeah.
Right,
But
okay.
that's where they hold the sticks.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and when you dipped it in, I like grabbed the thing and I was like, and when you pulled it out, I was like, there was a big chunk
I
of
know.
pepper.
I was enjoying the sweetness. I was like, oh yeah, make the
man.
most of these like the
How you feel?
Like, yeah, good. My
Like
mouth's feeling great.
All right, break the ice a little bit.
It's probably in my teeth.
No, it's not. I promise you. I promise you. The one before I had a Coke drink.
Yeah.
And I said we had to race each other.
Yeah.
Can you bring it up just a little
yep.
bit? Yeah. And so I said we had to race each other. It was only small. Is it burning?
A little bit.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're not sorry.
Well, no, 'cause
That's good, mate. I like that. Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah.
But it backfires on me a little bit because last week we had another episode with Riley Hines. He's a dancer.
Yep.
And we had a little Coke bottle, right?
Yep.
And I said that I had to race him. And so with racing him, he had to scull it, but we had to hold it like this.
Oh.
And then scull it.
Yep.
But I put soy sauce in his
Oh
Coke.
no.
And he was sculling it. And I was like, man, he's going off. And I was like, bro, you can't taste this. And then after that, the whole podcast, he was burping.
Oh,
and I was
no.
I was like, man, I think you needed to. So that's out of the way now.
Oh,
How you
that's so
feel?
funny. Yeah, good. Thank
Feel
you for
good?
that.
I'm thankful that I did that.
I'm glad I left my chewy in because it just keeps recycling back around
All right.
the flavor.
So do you have the chewy still?
Still, yeah.
Is it in the chewy?
Yes.
Put it in there.
I'm gonna get rid of that.
'Cause
I'm gonna put the chewy under the chair.
no, don't. Like in school. Yeah, that's what.
Just to
that's
get
how,
you back.
Yeah, that's how you're getting me back.
There we
All right.
are. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Same thing as we did
So
last. Same thing as we did last week with my episode number 4 with Riley Hines. We're going through a couple of statements. You've got to tell me if these statements are truth.
Yep.
Or if they're a myth. Okay. And for the audience out there, for Desley's audience, you can also play this. Okay. And with your answers, when we upload this to all the platforms for the podcast, make sure you comment your answers. Okay. And if you get all of them correct, you get 30% discount at Cortez Co Apparel.
Oh,
All right. But make sure you got to get them all right. Okay. So we're going to go the first question, the first statement. Okay.
Okay.
High levels of self-confidence sometimes hinder personal growth. Truth or a myth?
truth.
Okay. All right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hey, can you see my screen? You can't see my screen,
No.
can you?
No. Okay.
All right. Number 2, People with high emotional intelligence are always good leaders. Truth or a myth?
Oh, high emotional intelligence. I think they would be good leaders.
Are you sure?
Oh, don't say that.
You're going to stuff your audience up, man.
No,
I'm joking. I can't tell you. All right, we're going to wait till this goes live.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Number 3, the most effective form of empowerment is always self-initiated. Truth or a myth?
Self-initiated. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you've got to lead by example.
Okay. All right, so I'll read it. The most effective form of empowerment is always self-initiated. Truth or a myth? Give your intake. Give in your intake. And for the audience out there too, I want to know what your intakes are on this as well, on these questions. Let us know your reason why behind the truth or a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, now I'm going the other way now. Read it one more time.
All right. The most effective form of empowerment is always self-initiated.
Well, not really, because you can be affected by something else or someone else.
Okay.
So I'd say no.
All right. Well, audience, he's listening. He's going to listen to it. All right. Okay.
I'm no good at this.
So setting extremely high goals always leads to higher achievement. Truth or a myth?
Oh, that could go both ways. I like to set the bar high.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you think that's truth or a myth?
I think true.
Okay. So setting extremely high goals always leads to higher achievement.
Well, not extremely. Now I'm just going the other way. Okay.
The pepper and the baking powder has gone to your head. Okay.
I'd say no, because if it's too high and you don't achieve it, then you'll be disheartened.
Okay. I just felt like I had baking powder in.
I hope you do. No. I probably do.
No, you don't. I was looking, I was like, oh, hopefully she doesn't. Yeah. All right. Okay. Number 5, mental strength is natural and cannot be developed over time. Truth or a myth?
Myth.
Okay. You sure? Nah, I say that.
Don't do that.
I say that just to
thinking about other
doubt
things
yourself.
now.
All right. True resilience means never experiencing any emotional distress.
False.
Okay. Sure.
Confident on that one.
Yeah. False. That's 100% false.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, if you get all them answers right, okay, comment where you watch the podcast, okay, where you listen to your podcast and answer what you feel is truth or if it's a myth, okay? But if you get them all right, you get 30% discount at Cortez Co-Apparel. All right. We're getting to know Desley just a little bit more. Do you have a nickname, Desley?
Oh, I got heaps. I don't know
What's
yet.
the most recent one?
Dezo.
Dezo.
Yes.
Dezo. That's real Aussie, man.
I know.
That's real Aussie. That's good though. That's cool. Dezo. All right.
Dezo. That's at the moment. It was Destroyer. It's always something Desmond.
Something with the D. Hey, yeah. Nice.
Lady D.
Lady D. I heard Lady D.
Yeah. I sort of I got given that name from Steve Rajenko. We all used to train together.
Yep.
Yeah. So he thought of that, and then we just stuck with it.
Eh?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to dive into Dezo a little bit more. Okay, this is the journey of a character. Okay, I want you to really think about what your decision is and what you can say about it. Okay. So the first question is: you're in a ring surrounded by flames that represent hurdles. Do you find a way through the flames, wait for them to die down, or turn back to find another path?
Oh, my initial thing would be find a way to go through it.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't turn around. There's not a chance. I'm there.
Yeah.
I've committed.
Okay. All right.
And I'm also very stubborn, so I don't want to get beaten.
Well, there you go. No, that's good. So this is on a psychological level on what you answer with. So the representation for this, the choice explores your approach, confronting obstacles directly, assessing situations patiently, or reevaluating and seeking alternate solutions.
Yeah.
Sound right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Next
That's
one.
cool.
The mirror of dual self. All right. You face a mirror showing two versions of yourself. One as the world champion, another as a community leader. Which reflection do you step into and why?
Oh, I think I would like, obviously world champ would be great. I think community leader would be good.
Okay.
Depending on what, I don't want to be the mayor. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Hell no, I'm not being a mayor.
Yeah. But a community leader in what you do.
Yes.
In your values.
I think that would reach a lot more people.
Yes.
Obviously your stature as a world champ, that's short-lived for some.
Okay.
So whereas community leader, I think you vote mayor for me. No.
Vote Dezo one.
Dezo one. I think you can reach a lot more people on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And then that, they can get on their journey. You can help them. They can help others. It's just a broader,
Oh, that's good though.
range of people you can, help out. So
Nah, awesome. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
All right. This scenario examines your prioritization of personal achievement versus community impact, highlighting your values and long-term goals.
Yep.
Sound right?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right. Number 3, the weigh-in of sacrifice.
Yep.
Okay. At a weigh-in, you have to choose between your personal comfort and significant competitive advantage. Which do you sacrifice?
So say it again.
So at a weigh-in, you have to choose between your personal comfort and a significant competitive advantage. Which one do you sacrifice?
A significant competitive advantage. Oh, I don't know. At a weigh-in. So I'm weighing in
Yep.
and I've got to choose my comfort or a significant advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, depending what the advantage is, I don't want to cheat. You know what I mean?
So which one would you choose?
Obviously, if it's allowed, the comfort, not the comfort, the advantage.
Yes.
Because I want to win.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's good. It's just diving into your.
But then I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that one. That's a hard one.
It is, eh?
Yeah.
Because
depending what the advantage is.
What would be the personal comfort? Personal comfort is who you are already at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, no, I'm ready regardless. Or if this weigh-in changes just anything just to go in my favor, I'll take it. Or are you just happy to just be like, nah, I don't care whatever comes in my way, good or bad.
Yeah.
In my lane.
Yeah, it's hard because it's such a broad.
Because like it's like, hey, look, if your opponent come in a couple grams overweight, and you're like, oh, okay, well they've got to do something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, to your advantage a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess the other one, because I don't really care. I'm like,
good.
I'm happy to, like, if they weigh in 10 kilos, I'll still fight.
Yeah.
So let's go with the other question.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'm sweet. I'm ready for whatever. Like, weigh in, I'm good.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
You ready? So this dilemma reveals your willingness for personal comfort or greatest success.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd rather showcase dedication and your resilience rather than go to that advantage.
Oh, yeah. I definitely would have. No, I'm not. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No easy way through. No.
That's cool because it's the dilemma reveals the personal growth within yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like, I've worked so hard, but at the same time, it's like, if something comes up for an advantage of myself, it's like, no, I've worked so hard for it regardless of this.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, if I was to have an advantage and I was probably not prepared right, I'd be like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be different.
Yeah.
All right. So the coach's advice dilemma. Your coach offers 2 pieces of advice. One that guarantees short-term success, but long-term stagnation. And another that risks immediate failure, but promises long-term growth. Which advice do you follow?
Oh, I would like the long term.
Yeah.
You kind of got to trust the process a little bit.
Yeah.
And you will fail on the way. I think I would go, maybe the long term one.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. This tests your preferences for immediate gratification versus long-term development.
Yeah.
Reflecting your strategic thinking and risk tolerance.
Yes. Yeah.
It's scary, hey?
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, I just want it now.
Yeah.
You know, I just want it now, but it's like, man, it's a long term.
Yeah.
It's long term.
It's long term. Yeah.
All right. So we've got one more.
Yeah.
Okay. One more, then we'll
These
go
are good
into-
questions.
I know. Cool.
Yeah.
Eh? We'll go in one more and then we'll go into what Dezo's life is about. Okay.
Chaos.
All right. So the healing gloves question. You're given a pair of gloves. One heals every injury you've ever had, but prevents future victories. Another intensifies your challenges, but guarantees future success. Which do you choose?
The second one.
The second one.
Yeah. Injuries you can work around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay. Nice.
I'll fight with a broken hand.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
And that's cool. The main thing of creating these questions and making my own is to dive into who you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, you could go for the short-term pleasure or the long-term.
Yeah.
In the long-term gain.
Yeah.
It weighs up. And so that's why I did the
Yes, that's so
representations.
good.
Choosing between healing and future triumphs probes your focus on recovering versus ambition.
Yeah.
Highlighting how you balance health with career aspirations.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah. And I guess I haven't been injured, touch wood, yet. So I'm like, touch it.
Yeah, touch it. Touch this.
So yeah.
Nah, you've had baking powder and pepper.
Still burning.
Is it really?
Still tasty.
I'm so sorry.
If I start dribbling, just let me know.
Nah, I won't tell you. Nah, I'm joking. All right, man. Let's get into your life. How did it all start for you?
Oh, shivers.
The boxing world and the journey.
Okay, so I grew up in a small town called Moranbah. It's about Moranbah, yeah, small mining town. It's about 14 hours away from here.
Yeah.
Out in the bush. Not much to do there. It's like,
I remember playing football out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I played for Witsane Brahmins, and
Yep.
Because it was A grade. I played the last game. And man, they had it at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, at night, yeah.
And it was just the coldest thing ever, hey.
Yeah, it's like
Holy
a desert out there. It's like 40 degrees through the day and then at night cold.
I don't understand, hey.
No.
Yeah.
So went to boxing. I think so I done like a lot of athletics, was really good at athletics, represented Australia, done all, like high jumping, running, everything like that. And I sort of, obviously was getting older. There wasn't much else to do. I played footy out there as well, and was pretty successful at that.
Oh, nice.
And then I sort of, just wanted to sort of get into a bit of boxing. I think I got to an age where I was a bit, I kind of didn't really know how to deal with anger or how to deal with I don't know, I guess I get frustrated quite easy. I wasn't that great at school.
Okay.
I mean, I still passed and everything.
Yes.
But I would rather go and make something with my hands or build something rather than sit down and do tests and whatnot. So quite an active kid. Probably wasn't the best kid. I wasn't naughty, but you know what I mean? Quite stubborn, quite set in my ways. I was like, if I wanted to do something, I had to do that.
That's fine. I think we all have that little bit of a trait.
Yeah. So then I went to boxing and for fitness, and I told mum and dad, I just want to go for fitness, but really I wanted to go and make a statement. I was in my head. I was like, I want to go fight. I want to win. I want to, I want to actually be someone, Yeah. So even though I was still somebody with football and athletics, I just wanted that next thing. And a couple of the football boys were going to boxing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. I'm doing well in rugby. Surely I could do well in footy.
Yeah.
So done that. Mum, I think it was mum. Mum was against, she was like, oh no, or it might have been dad. I think dad was like, you're not fighting. You're not getting in the ring. You're not fighting.
Oh, okay.
And I think mum was a bit more lenient towards it. So I went in and then obviously was training, and then my coach was like, oh shit, she's all right,
Oh, yeah.
But back then it was just pure anger. So it was just, I'd go in and I'd just be flat necker on the bag. I'd run to training because mum was at work as well. So, I didn't have the luxury of getting dropped off and picked up because I had two other sisters and mum and dad were both working. Yeah. So I'd run to training, run home from training. And it was like getting dark and we were never really allowed out after dark. So I'd be hauling up massive, running, sweaty, get home and then scoff my dinner, go to bed and, do it the next day. Yeah. And then, long story short, there was an opportunity to fight and I thought, trying to get mum and dad to fight. How's your report card? Are you doing good at school? And I was like, trying to make sure everything.
It's got to be rewarded to you, hey?
Yeah. And I just wanted to fight. So, and I had my first fight. I was 14 and I fought a 27-year-old.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So she was like a kickboxer and it was, I think it was at Blackwater. So, out in the bush again.
Even more.
And it's funny because out at those fights, it's like we have the fight night and then everyone's been drinking all day. Then there's fights in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it was rough, but it was so good. I wouldn't change anything.
That's awesome.
And then obviously I won.
I
was like a Tassie devil. Like the ref was pulling me off.
Oh, wow.
There was no style. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I'd get back to the corner and I'd be like, did I win? Am I winning? And I was winning by a mile. And my coach was like, calm down.
Yeah.
And even to this day, he still says, you need to calm down.
Oh, wow.
Just relax. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yep. But not in there. I'm like,
just go crazy.
Go crazy. So won that. And then mum and dad were like, oh, yep. Then another tournament came around. I thought, oh, can I fight again? Oh, if you start losing, you're not fighting. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I've got to win. If I don't win, then I can never box again. So I got that mentality of, I want to prove everyone wrong. I want to get in there and make a statement. Yeah. It also helped with obviously, my anger too. Cause, I'm a little bit of a hothead, I'd just snap and be like, right, that's it, but, it was good. It's good to, obviously it's got good discipline. I got fitter, for my athletics and, it was good. I just had fun with it.
Did you start to prioritize boxing or your athletics and your footy?
Yeah, so footy sort of died off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I obviously was, into the boxing. I didn't want to get hurt. Yeah. And we'd get a lot of the guys in the off season come and do boxing. Yeah. But I just thought, footy was great, did really well. But I just really loved boxing. I loved how it made me feel. And I was invincible, 14-year-old beating up 27-year-olds.
That's pretty cool. At 14, 14 years old.
So-
Can I ask, where did the anger stem from?
I'm not too sure. Like, I just, I don't know. Like, I think we're all like, my whole family's a little bit of like
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, the Robinsons were a bit crazy.
Yeah.
We, I think, we're all, 0 to 1,000, and
Yeah.
like, I think growing up as well, it was, installed in us that you don't take any shit from people. You stand your ground.
Oh, yeah. And I think,
I think that was a big thing.
I think that's how it should be too. It's
Yep.
like, you should know your worth. I think that's
100%.
know your values. And I think that's
Yep.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, and that was like obviously Dad having 3 daughters. He was like, like there's no boys.
Yeah,
like, Dad
it's
was like,
only me.
Yeah. He's like, you're the closest I've got to a boy. So I was like, right, I've got to stand up.
Yeah. Are you the oldest or?
The middle. So
the middle.
I've got an older sister. She's 4 years older, and then a younger sister 4 years younger. So there's
wow,
3 of us.
okay.
We all look the same.
Oh, true.
And for some reason, I'm 6 foot. My little sister's like 4 foot. And my,
Oh,
like,
really?
this weird
It's
height.
just a zigzag, like in height.
Yeah, and we're all very, very similar. So we all talk the same. We all act the same.
That's funny,
we're a bit wild, but like obviously got our heads screwed on
Yeah.
too. So
Are they all here with you? Or
my younger sister lives in Moranbah still.
Oh,
My older sister she moved to Ipswich, and then now she's in Brisbane. So
Yeah.
because her partner was in the Air Force. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah. So
All right, man, that's crazy too. So like at 14 years old, you had your first boxing fight. Then the second one was, what was that one like?
where was it? I think the second one was probably Gladstone or back at
wow.
or Rockhampton.
Yeah, okay.
Very North Queensland. So second fight we'd fought someone older as well.
Yeah.
And it was hard too because I was always so tall, and I don't ever remember being like under 60 kilos in high school. Like I've always been like a bigger sort of build, always tall, always, had the athletic sort of build. And when I'd weigh in, they'd think, oh, she's quite heavy for a, 15-year-old. So I was always around that middleweight. So it kind of made it hard to get fights because there was obviously a lot of girls in the 60 kilos. And I sort of started to develop like, oh man, I'm like this really big girl, like I'm so big and then I'm overweight. And then that sort of started to play games, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to eat. Like,
Oh, wow.
I will eat, I won't eat. Like it's hard when you're a girl and you're so weight orientated. So, and because I couldn't get fights. So we struggled forever to get fights.
Oh, wow.
Mainly because of the fact that, I was a little bit heavier.
Yes.
And I was like a mongrel. Like I would just go in and
Yeah, it's like people didn't even want to fight you anyway.
I know. So that, but then obviously, it was always a struggle, but we ended up managing getting about 50 plus fights in the amateurs. So, a lot of traveling to, like smaller towns, pubs, big weekends away. And like mum and dad, we weren't a rich family. We didn't go without, we always had good meals. We always had food. We always, were looked after, but we didn't have, I couldn't go out like my son can now and go buy new shoes. He's got the brand new football boots. Like I was wearing sand shoes,
nice.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Exactly.
And then, like outfits to wear, like I would just wear whatever the boys weren't wearing, put it on lecky tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Lecky tape.
Yeah.
I look at my outfits from what I was fighting and I was like,
different.
dear.
Oh, far out, man.
So, and then obviously traveling away, like that cost mum and dad money too. So, sometimes, I couldn't come to Brisbane because that's a lot of money. That's time away, So we sort of got to a point at, 50 plus fights. I was like, shit, I can't go any further. So then that's when you sort of want to leave, go and explore, other towns, go to, Brisbane's this big, massive city,
right.
come to the big smoke. Yeah. But then everyone knows everyone's still here.
Yeah,
so.
still small world.
Yeah.
Hey. Your first fight, what did you take from that? What was the biggest thing you took back from that?
The biggest thing was that I was a teenager and this girl was, she was angry. She was 27 and she's in there thinking that she could beat me. And I was like, not a chance. Like I will die in this ring. I am going crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that I took from that, doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter. Like I've done the work. I walked away and I said, I did it. I believed in myself. I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to prove, everyone wrong. Not that I had a lot of doubters, but a 14-year-old, 27, you're like, oh man, this kid's going to get flogged.
Yeah.
So I think that gave me a lot of confidence as well. So gave me the confidence for another fight thinking, hey, if I can beat her, and she was a crazy kickboxer too. So, I think it just, it was good.
Man, that's full on, eh? That's a massive age difference. And with what you said about struggling with weight, did that end up being like a mental game for you?
Yeah, and later on.
For like how long?
For the whole boxing career, really. So only until probably, I'd say maybe 6 years ago, I I learned that obviously food is fuel. I got right into my personal training. I started to learn about like diet, what to eat, what not to eat. But I was managing a gym. I started managing a gym when I was 19, and I would go to work and I would see, these fit people, and I was saying, I'm not fit. I'd have a six pack.
Yeah.
But I was still mentally thinking, I still couldn't get fights. I was still struggling. And then in my head, I was like, oh, it's because you're a 75 kilo, 20-year-old, or 19-year-old, sorry, and then I think, all these other girls are 60 kilos, they're all real petite, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
So I would go to work all day. I wouldn't eat a thing all day, and I'm doing personal training sessions. I'd leave and then go to Red Rooster and then gorge on Red Rooster and then get home and then make myself spew. And I'm like, why would you do, like, it was just a crazy time, whereas like I was struggling with, like, you're heavy, you can't get fights. Why can't I get fights? Then I was still trying to help other people who would come to me with eating disorders and emotional problems. And I was then giving, helping everyone else. But in the meantime, I was punishing myself behind closed doors for what? And not until now I'm like, what an idiot. That's so silly.
So let's say if we were to take boxing out of the picture on a personal level, how would that have made you feel? Do you think you still would have had that eating type of disorder, or not as much because of obviously boxing?
I think when you get to like, the 18, 20 sort of, you go out and you're partying, you've got girls in nice dresses and I was like always 6 foot tall, so I couldn't wear heels out.
I thought you was, honestly, I thought you was a lot shorter than
me.
Everyone when you come in, I was like, fuck. I was like, man,
she's tall.
I'm short, but man, oh man, far out.
Yeah, so I think I would have still been like, I can't, where were they, I can't go out in the heels and stuff, so I'm going to be 7 foot tall.
Yeah, that's it. You're already tall enough, man.
So I think it still would have happened, but I do think boxing, the weight-wise, how it was so involved in your weight, you're too heavy.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't that great for my mental, my mental things. So I would have developed it, but not to that extent, I think. Yeah.
And how does your personal life and boxing life correlate to being in the middle? Have you found that balance?
It is hard. Like, I guess like boxing, you sacrifice so much. So if you're fighting and you're cutting weight, you go out to dinner with your friends and they're, eating all this nice food and you're like, shit, what am I eating now? Like it's so, you've got to watch what you eat if you are cutting weight. I can't go out and party, I don't want to have a hangover.
Yeah.
I've got to train the next day. So, which is good. Like, everyone grows out of that phase. I do think boxing has kept me on the straight and narrow though, because I did leave home quite early.
Yeah.
So I left home when I was 15.
Why so early, if you don't mind?
I think we just sort of, my family and I just had a bit of, disagreement. I'm quite stubborn, they're quite stubborn. I didn't handle things very well. And then, we sort of, just obviously fell out. And me being me was like, no, I can do this. Packed my bags, left, went and got a house, was paying my own rent, worked at the pub to make it at 15.
After beating this 27-year-old.
Yeah. Crazy roller coasters.
Man.
I was 15 working at the pub and I was like, I still wanted to prove to mum and dad that I can finish school, I can still be successful. But obviously school costs money and I didn't want to ask mum and dad for money because I was angry at them.
I've left.
I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And they're quite stubborn, we're quite stubborn. I'm quite stubborn. So I'd finish at 2 a.m. in the morning, go home and then get up at 7, go to school, walk to school, do it the next day. So make sure I was, paying for school, paying my rent.
Oh, wow. Age 15.
Yeah, but in that sort of thing, any 15-year-old with their own home, renting, working at a pub, there's all these options to go party, take drugs, do the wrong thing, not go to school. But I knew I had boxing. I was like, yep, I'm going to go to boxing this afternoon. You can't be hungover. It kept me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did it keep you on the straight and narrow so strictly and so disciplined, knowing that at 15 you're out of the house on your own?
With the world that I could do whatever.
It's you against the world now. It's like, but how did that, I guess you needed that outlet, but obviously it was boxing.
And I think boxing, after winning, it is the highest of highs. You feel invincible. So I don't want to lose. Like, I don't want to feel like a failure. I wanted to get up on that high again and think, win another fight. And you don't win fights. You don't get successful without some sort of sacrifice. So, people would be partying. I'd come home and my friends would be partying at the house, so I'd be like, I've got school tomorrow. tomorrow. You know, got training. And if you don't give boxing or any sport really 100%, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I don't want to fail.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So,
but when did you realize that? Did you almost fall into that phase where you're like, oh, I do want to take drugs. I do want to party.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've experimented. I've done, you know, the wrong thing 100%. I've done a lot of silly things, and I think everyone does. It's to learn, you know, right from wrong, you know, like people still keep doing it. And I think because I was surrounded by so many grown-ups, the wrong people, bad people, like I was like open to this whole new world of like all different types of people. I could see, you know, I don't want to be like that person. I don't want to be like that person.
Exactly.
So I guess, kind of learn from other people's mistakes too. But
man, that's hard because like you're definitely, because you see it so much, you're like, oh, I could go down this path or I could go down this.
There was a phase, obviously, you know, when I did finish school, I didn't box for like a year or so and I partied, I went out, I did the whole 18-year-old thing. And, but it's just, like I enjoyed it. Then I'd always think, you know, like, shit, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. I couldn't really always relax, you know, other people would go party and let loose, but I would try and keep up. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh no, like I couldn't never fully relax because I've got goals to achieve. You know, I want to prove people wrong. So
why is it always prove people wrong? What mindset was that? When did you develop that? Oh, I want to prove people wrong. Did you have like an expectation put on yourself? Or?
I think more so way back in the day, it was girls don't box, girls don't play footy. You're a girl, you know, like now it's very accepted.
Oh, so it's like that stereotype.
The stereotype of like that. And I think too, it's just, like mum and dad were very, you know, if you're going to do something, you stick to it. You know, you don't let anyone bring you down, you know, and then I sort of develop a mentality of, you know, if you say I can't, I will, like I will do it.
Yeah. Was there ever a point where it's like, oh, I really don't think I can do this? Were you ever that down and that low that you're like, oh, could I ever?
I think when I came to the next higher level of boxing, so the next stage was, you know, I was looking at the Olympics. I was looking at, you know, wanting to represent Australia, you know, the fights were getting harder. Brisbane, their whole style is different to North Queensland style of fighting. We brawl, we like, it's rough.
Yeah, definitely.
Brisbane's very, you got to use your brain. It's a chess game, you know, points, and they're very Olympic style. They've got, you know, all the facilities, you know, like we didn't even have a beach where I grew up.
Yeah,
you know, like,
far out.
Inland, you know, like we didn't have luxuries of, you know, like a physio. I'm like, I never went to a physio, you know, like
the
all that
resources
sort of stuff.
and
The
all
resources,
that.
So, you know, I think when I come here and I was like, oh, well, it's a whole new kettle of fighters and different style. Then I started thinking, oh man, can I do this? Like, you know, I've moved to Brisbane. I've got no one here. And at that time, I still wasn't talking to my family. So I'd moved with my son, and we had nothing like, like I didn't really have support. I didn't know anyone. I joined a boxing club. And then, it was a struggle then. So I was like, shit, have I bitten off more than I can chew?
But
I kept pushing and thinking, you know, like you've made this decision, you just stick with it.
Yeah.
So,
You mentioned your son.
Yeah, my son, Seth Man. Yeah.
Okay. What's his name, sorry?
Seth.
Seth.
Yeah.
Nice, Seth.
Yeah. Everyone calls him the Seth Man.
Seth Man. Okay. When did you have him in your timeline?
When did I have him? I think I was 24 when I had him. So what's he? He's 12 now. 12 turning 13.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
so
okay.
so we long story short, we obviously
I don't want a long story short.
I ramble.
I'm joking.
I end up going on this wild track of
and I need to try to keep you on a nice. I want to hear.
So obviously, I left Moranbah, moved to 2 hours away, and then was managing a gym. From then, I thought, I want my own gym.
Yeah.
I had Seth when I was 24, so he was a baby.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was bored. Like I can't stay at home and do them. Like I do the mom thing, but I'm not a baker. I'm not a sewer. So I was like, I'm going to make a gym. I had a newborn. My partner at the time was working away in the mines, which is Seth's dad.
In Moranbah, right?
In Moranbah, yeah. So I felt like, you know, I was alone all the time. I was single parenting all the time because he was at work.
Yeah.
So I thought, no, I'm going to do a gym. So I created this gym, made my own gym, turned it into the first 24-hour gym in the town while I had a baby. So I done all that. And then obviously the relationship fell through. It was quite a toxic relationship. I was not happy, happy. And I think a lot of that anger as well came from not being happy too, you know.
Where would that happiness or that non-happiness start?
Well, I guess if you are with someone and you don't compliment each other or bring each other up and you just, you know, we're both from a small town.
Yeah.
We obviously got together because, you know, we're in a small town. There's not many people to choose from.
Yeah.
But does that sound?
Well, there you go. Beggars can't be choosers.
I know. So obviously, you know, that fell through. Quite toxic, horrible, you know, regret that. No. But, you know, that's life. But yeah, so then it was kind of, you know, me and my son, and I was like, you know, I thought, you know, the opportunity came up for the Olympics for boxing, and the relationship fell through. It was quite messy, still quite messy. And I just went bankrupt. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I built a house, like a brand new home. Built a gym, and I was just, I thought, you know what? Stuff this. And I walked out. I left the house. I left the gym. I left with my dog and my son, and we come to Brisbane. We had nothing. I had a suitcase
from
from Mackay.
Oh fuck.
So it's been a bit of a So obviously pursued the boxing, and I was like, you know what, I can do it. And then obviously, like we said before, get to Brisbane. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, massive.
I'm trying out for the Olympics. I've got a 4-year-old kid. I've just been bankrupt. I can't get a loan. How am I going to get a house? You know, like I ended up getting a house, and then the whole time, you know, trying to be a mother, trying to go through the family court system, trying to have someone take your kid off you because you've left, and you know, it's either stay there and be miserable for the rest of my life, and you know, I'm not having my son be miserable either. Like I can give him the world, you know, and I will do that. So and that was another thing too, to prove them, like him, that this choice that I've made, I'm going to make it work, and I have.
Was it hard to leave? Was it hard to leave?
Not at all. I wanted to leave. I know I was done, and I was done for years. I wasn't happy. I was turning into just an unhappy, nasty person. But not nasty to people. I was just didn't want to be there, and I wasn't the best person I could be. My training was affected, my friendships was affected, my family, everything. And then while I was, you know, running a gym on my own with a baby, I was then being a personal trainer. So I was a psychologist for other people as well, trying to help them through their things. Well, all along my life, But I mean, you just put a new hat on, you go, righto, we're here to work. And I felt that by helping other people, it made me feel a lot better. So, you know, if someone was unhappy, I know what that feels like. I don't want someone else to feel like that.
How did you identify that you weren't happy? You know, you can always help people. But why is it you can never take your own advice?
I know, right?
Why? Sometimes we have to be travelers rather than the guider.
Yeah, and I think we need to know what it feels like.
Yeah. When did you start feeling that? When did you start feeling, oh, no, this is not what I wanted?
Yeah. I think when he was born, you know, so we had obviously, you know, built a house together, and then we'd had this newborn, and I was like, this isn't, you know, like, I'm happy I've got my son, but I'm like, this isn't the life I want. No, I want to, you know, I want to be happy. Like, So we were together for about, you know, 10 years or so, like a long time. But obviously when you go through, you know, high school or whatever together, people grow apart. It's very rare that they stay together. So I was on a different journey. I had things that I wanted to do. You know, I just felt like I was alone, you know, and it's hard for the ladies that do have partners that are in the mine, because they do feel alone. You're at home stuck. Your partner's out at work. You feel like a single parent, really. But I guess if you're compatible, you're great, you know, you're a good match, then it'll be easier. So obviously we weren't, and it was just toxic and disgusting. So
did you obviously for the audience out there, and for anyone that's gone through this, at what point was it like, okay, no, I don't really want to continue doing this or even enjoying this relationship?
Yeah, I think you get to a point where you just keep fighting, you don't agree on things, and you get worn down. Like when you know, if you know what I mean, you just think, I'm done, you know, like,
And so 10 years is a long time. Was that towards the end of the 10 years, or was that like the middle of the 10 years?
Towards the end,
Towards the end. Man, that's so. And so you were happy to just cut it.
And if I'm done, I'm done.
Being toxic, right? You obviously don't mind talking about it. When you left, did that play a massive part with you? Did you obviously didn't leave on a good note?
No.
So leaving Mackay to Brisbane was like you were trying to pursue something, but also at the same time something was holding you back. All this noise, all the nonsense, all the family court stuff, and people go through it all the time. You know, there's always partners that don't agree with the other partner, and I've been in family court for 10 years, over 10 years. Like, it's just been constant. So, and it's the same old thing that just keeps going around. It's like, I could go into it, but How would you best explain your situation now? With going back and forth with court? with the child court. You know, that's tough.
It's like, it's just, it shouldn't be happening. It's like, go live your life. I'll live mine. Why try and ruin a child's life when he's an awesome kid?
Yeah.
You don't need that noise for a kid, you know? So I think, it's just obviously disagreements, and it's going to keep on going. Like, family court is hard because it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
No one really wins out of it. Even though the other person thinks that you don't win, there's no winner. Like, and the lawyers have said that there is no winner in family court. It just gets adjourned, you get put in. It's like silly things like, oh, you didn't answer a phone call, I'm going to take you to court.
Wow, really?
Okay. Oh, you were late for that, I'm going to take you to court. You know, like, it's just, the other people would relate, obviously, being in the family court. And then I'm trying to get my life back together, be a mother, work, be a professional fighter, plus have all this noise of family court in the background. And people do it every day. Like, you talk to everyone, you know, like, men don't see their children, you know, and like vice versa, you know,
definitely.
like, you know, there's all sorts of different cases, and people still have to get up. They still have to be a parent. They still have to try and be successful, keep a roof over your head, and you've got this silly nonsense going in the background. Like, there's no need for it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just the family court system is failing people. But that's a whole new kettle, you know, like it's hard. So, yeah.
If you were to take one thing back to potentially have had a better upbringing with your son, what do you reckon that would be?
I think,
obviously that'd be a lot.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think from leaving quite early, giving him that chance from 4-year-old onwards till now, 12, I think I've given him a better life. I've done the best thing. Like, it was hard at the start, but I think he's older now, so he sees a lot of things now. I think when he was a bit younger, say, you know, like 6, 7, 8, he was a bit confused. He didn't get all the nonsense, but he's older now. He's switched on. He knows what's BS and what's not.
Yeah.
So now it's easier, but then I think I probably would have tried to handle things a bit better. But it's hard, you know, when you're a parent and you've got someone that's potentially wanting to take your son from you. Some days you're not happy.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then your kids vibe off that as well. They see it. So I guess you be strong to a certain extent, but they're not silly. But I think, and I'm sure old mate would be the same too. His dad, you know, like, So I think leaving earlier was a better choice for me personally. Everyone's different.
Yes.
Yeah. So every situation's different. But yeah, I thought, no, you know what? Stuff this. I'm going now, and I'm going to give my son the best life he possibly can. He's killing it.
Yeah. No, what's he doing at the moment?
He's opened his own mowing company.
What the fuck? How old is he?
12.
My God, man. That's a real entrepreneur.
Oh, I know. He's such a good kid. So every fight, he's there in my corner. He is, and like, I had a lady pull me up yesterday and goes, your son is amazing, because he was so at school they have little buddies. So when you're a preppy, you have like an older kid that looks after you. And Seth was like, oh, that's my mate from school. And that was like last year. So he ran up to him, and the mum was like, oh, you remember him? And Seth's like, yeah, he's my mate.
Oh,
you know, and the mum was like, you've got a really good son.
Yeah.
So I get compliments all the time on, you know, how mature he is and how, you know, he's great. You know, he's playing footy, and, you know, I make sure he's got the best of the best.
Yes,
you know, like, definitely. I work hard to make sure, you know, he's looked after, got all the opportunities. So, you know, he's good. He's going to go places.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How are you dealing with, when you moved to Brisbane, how'd you deal with all that background noise and trying to pursue that going into Olympics? And
yeah, it was hard. So there was a lot of like games, a lot of mind games played from, you know, the other end, and as the silly nonsense goes on. But it was hard, but because I'm so determined, and I was like, no, that's another thing that I was like, you know, it just made my whole mindset of proving people wrong, that I was just 10 times stronger. I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that I followed my dream and I was successful in what I chose to do, to prove them and show them that, you know what, I did it, even though the whole time you tried to make me fail.
Yeah.
You know, so, and not everyone's like that. Some people are just unfortunate and like to make, you know, want people to fail.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to see
people succeed. 100%. Yeah.
And what did that life look like? So you moved to Brisbane.
Yep. Still wasn't talking to my family. I had no help, no friends. I was lucky enough to go to a really good boxing club. The boxing club was Shara and Gareth.
Which one? Where's that?
That was originally at Mount Gravatt. So they're still around there now. So they're great. So they're all into, you know, the Olympic scene and whatnot. They're really nice. So I got along well with them. I ended up getting a job, and I will never forget it. They gave me an envelope, and it was money to go get an outfit for a job interview.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you know what? I'll give this back to you tenfold.
Yeah, definitely. Are they still around?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
shout out to who?
Shara and Gareth, right?
Shara and
from the
Gareth,
boxing
hey?
shop.
Nice.
Yeah, they're legends. So, they helped me. I got on my feet. I got a job. I started doing real estate, knew nothing about it. I just winged it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So did that. But I was obviously traveling. Had my son in daycare, running around here and there. And then I started personal training out of their gym. And then that sort of led to meeting people, other avenues. I moved. It was about a 40-minute drive each day. So every single day I'd do the daycare run, train, work, drive in the traffic to Macrovat, and it was hectic every day.
Always,
race back. So I was working that, and then, obviously the real estate, and then working 2 jobs to make sure I could pay my rent, and just trying to get ahead in life. So obviously when you join a club, your coach is more than just a coach. They help you. And that's what I like to do with my PT clients as well. You're a psychologist, you help them. It's more than just personal training. So
there's a lot to it.
Yeah. So
how old were you when you moved to Brisbane?
I think what was I, like 25?
25.
Oh, 25 to 6. Yeah.
Is that too late to try to get into was that your goal to get into the?
Yeah. So I always wanted, whether it was athletics, I was always like, when I was younger, I was always drawing the Olympic, the rings. The rings. I'm like, I'm going to do that. So either way, I wanted to go in for something. Yeah. So it was, I got over the athletics. You could only really go so far in a small town with that. And then obviously boxing, when I moved, it could go, worldwide really. So did that. And I didn't turn professional until I was about 30. So I moved over to Daisy Hill and started working at a gym, Southside, World Gym Southside.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was doing that, and then doing the PT, and then obviously opened a cafe. So I was doing that, boxing, opened my own cafe to make sure, I could pay rent. My son was good.
Yeah.
He started school, which took a lot of pressure off having someone to watch him while I worked. He was at school. So did all that, and then trained with Clem de Sykes and Reagan de Sykes. And then they were great. They were awesome. Same as Sharon Garth, really helpful. Yeah. But I wanted to go to that next pro level. So I did a couple amateur fights with them. And it was good. I got to see the experience the pro side of things, because Reagan was a professional. Nice. And I'd help out in the corner, and I was like, man, this is cool. Professional fighting. I was like, I want to go pro. I don't want to do that. I want to go pro. That's so cool. You're your own boss. You become your own person. All that sort of jazz. So then you meet other people in boxing that said, hey, there's a guy called Chris McCullen. He has a boxing club just up the road. Yeah. And I'm quite loyal. Like if I pick a club, I like to stay with them. But it's like we're all still great friends. I've never had falling out with people. Even my coach from when I was 14, Mick Kelly, he comes to my fights now.
Oh, shout out to Mick Kelly.
Yeah, from Mooraba. But so then obviously I went pro with Chris McCullen and with Logan Boxing Team, and we've just come like leaps and bounds. Like my style has changed. Like I think I've come, developed as a better person. Yeah. The whole support network with everyone there. Everyone is like a family, so everyone helps. They're welcoming of my son. Like if I need something, if I couldn't mow my yard or something, someone would come and help me, like you've just got that network of friends. Yeah. So I sort of didn't really find myself in the boxing scene until, a few years ago. And then my family sort of come back on board. We'd made amends. And then, it's just been coming leaps and bounds now.
Man, so in the ring is obviously different outside of the ring. How do you prepare outside of the ring?
Yeah, outside. So obviously we've got fight camp. Yeah. And I would be screwed without my coach.
Who's your coach now?
Chris McCullen. So Logan Boxing. Yeah, he's like, you mentioned his name and everyone's like, oh, great bloke, bloke. I've never heard one person say, oh, nah, there's never a negative thing. He's so respected. Yeah. Like he's an absolute legend. Him and his whole family, and he's got daughters too, he's got, a beautiful wife. Everyone just sort of works in together. And
that's good.
And the shed that we train at is a shed in the backyard. Oh, wow. It's not a fancy club. Like, and I don't want that. Like I grew up boxing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so that's right up my alley. And it's you only go there. It's not a club, so it's a small group of people that go there. Yeah, like it's just it's amazing. We've done really well. So prepping for a fight, obviously, you've got to be in fight camp. And we sort of do, depending on the fight, depending on your fitness level and how recently you fight, you do like a 6-week camp. You might need a 10-week camp, depending on how many rounds you're doing. It could be 10, it could be 6. Yeah. But I sort of put a lot of trust into Chris because, he's a smart man. He's a fighter himself. He's retired now, but he's been in my shoes, and that's the best people to be around. Yeah. And people that have been where you've been, like he didn't have the best life growing up, and he's out there helping people be the best that they can be. So I can relate to him as well. So, So obviously camp, it's chaos. So you're up in the morning, you're running in the morning before the kids wake up. You know, you've got to get all the kids off to school. Like I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old as well. So
where did they come?
Yeah, no, they came in later on.
Okay. Let's go. Continue
so,
that one.
Yeah, so they were, they came in when I sort of turned pro. So, so then, obviously I had the kids and turned pro at the same time. I missed that bit. But so it is, you run a tight schedule. So, you know, you've got 2 sessions a day, you box every afternoon. And then Saturdays, we obviously leave it for sparring and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but at the moment now we sort of, you know, I feel like my life's on track. I've gotten to where I want to be now. I can pay my rent. I own my car. Like I've always had something and then lost everything and then started from scratch and had to rebuild. And then, you know, like now I'm sort of built my life back up again.
That's beautiful.
So I think, now we're at the point where, you know, we're fighting. We've got Tavita Pangai Jr., who's just joined in with us. Oh, not just, he's been with us for a few years. The footballer. So we've got a little bit of limelight on the club itself.
Yeah, shout out to Vita, eh?
Yeah, nice. So he's sort of come from, you know, obviously the Broncos and a lot of doubters as well. So he's all about proving people wrong.
There we go. I'd like to tune into his.
Yes.
You know.
So we go hand in hand with the whole,
that's awesome.
You know, proving people wrong, you know, making a statement. He is obviously fighting and now we're going to do our own promotion. So our own fight night. So we're looking at the promoting side of things now you know, getting everyone to our fight night. And so we can then give back to people and have people walk away from our fight night going, damn, that was a good fight night.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, we've been around for years boxing and, you know, I'm coming up 21 years now boxing. So, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. Like
only a couple of years.
It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back a little bit on your timeline, you know. Before you turned pro.
Yep.
What was that one thing, that moment of clarity that switched you to just go, okay, I want to go professional. Obviously you said like, I do want to go to the Olympics or do something.
Yep.
What was it in your mind? What was that?
I think, obviously helping out in the pro scene, I was like, this suits me a lot better. Whereas like the Olympics, you got to, you know, a lot of people go to the AIS, like, and having kids, I'm like, they're not going to want me with 3 kids in the AIS. They're like, I'm not going to be able to give it my 100%. Like, who's going to watch my kids? Yeah. Like, you know, I sort of had that realization of like, you know, it's probably bitten off a little bit more that,
what's realistic.
What's realistic. Not. Yeah. You know, you can still box and still be successful and still help others and, you know, get, you know, your vision and, you know, whatever else or what you stand for out there. But I think the pros sort of, suited me more because you could be your own boss. You know, the Olympics is good, but you're in a team, you're still controlled. You've got to do, you know, like, And I mean, that suits other people. It just didn't suit me at that time.
Is there a system that you have to go through? So let's say if I wanted to start boxing and I was doing amateurs, like what's the system? What's the process look like? Yeah.
So generally, obviously you'll do the amateurs for a while, get your experience on that. You can do, you know, Queensland title, Australia title, Golden Gloves. And I did all that too. Like I won all those.
Hey, why not tell us? Why not tell us about that?
I know. I've got so many things to say.
Let's go. Let's hit it there. So you won all them?
Yep, won all them. And then that's where I sort of was looking at the pro scene as well. I'm like, I've just won my 4th Australian title. I've got 4 Golden Gloves. I've got 4 Queensland titles. We then went to Victoria. I won the Victoria titles. You know, and I was like, what more can I do? And then that was obviously the next step was, you know, the Olympics. But I guess timing, kids, where I was at life, it sort of was a bit, I did try out for the Olympics. And, you know, I had some great experiences with that. And I think too, at that time, I was juggling family court. I was juggling moving. I was juggling, I didn't have a support network. I didn't know anyone. I was like going away on camps with these girls that have been in it since they were, you know, teenagers. And I was like, you know, I got a kid at home. I'm like, I didn't feel like I did belong, but it was a struggle because I was like, oh man, this is like.
You didn't get it handed to you and it wasn't an easy course for you.
No. And I think it was just obviously I had a lot of stress on and then having to try and to perform. It's such a mental thing. You can't be mentally elsewhere and then have to perform in the ring. Like,
have you ever had that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I've been mentally perfect example, the Olympics. So the Olympic trials, like I'd done that. And at that time I was still going through all the dramas with my son. I still gave it my all, but it was, I wasn't 100% focused on that. And then I was thinking, man, I've ruined this opportunity. And then that then plays mind games thinking like, oh, you're an idiot. You know, you had the Olympics right at your fingertips. But in saying that, like I think I'm using that as an excuse, but these girls are at a different level as well. You know, they've been in the Brisbane scene a long time. I've come from the bush in there, like different fight style, different opportunities, a completely different life to all of those girls.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've had their struggles and whatnot.
Definitely.
You know, everyone's got their battles, but it was just a whole new ball game.
Right.
So yeah.
So how would you have gotten into the Olympics? What would that have looked like? Would you have won that fight or did you lose that fight?
It was more so points that I'd lost on. Like I didn't get beaten, I didn't get flogged. It was just obviously points, but I'd still obviously given it to her. But it was just fell short really. Right. So and I was disappointed, but then I'd already been thinking about the pro scene too. Like, you know, I'm thinking, man, how good is that? You are your own athlete.
That's pretty cool. Hey?
You know, I don't have anyone to sort of, except for your coach, to sort of answer to. And yeah.
Did you feel, you obviously would have felt down not making the Olympics?
Oh, you feel like a failure.
Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah. Like when you lose and you've put so much into something and sacrificed so much and you fall short so close, you just go to the deepest, darkest, you pick yourself to pieces.
Yep.
You do somewhat be depressed. Like it's a full depression. Like, you just, it's just, and like I said, nothing's better than that winning feeling because you know how good and how invincible you feel winning.
But it's so high, right?
The highest of highs, the lowest of lows.
So you've talked about sort of the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that low. What's that low? Give it a perspective on that.
Oh man, it's low, like negative bloody 10. Like
fuck.
It's you question yourself. Like, have I wasted everyone's time? Do I look like a fraud? I've told everyone I'm going to do this and I'm going to go to the Olympics. Like, I never talk myself up and say, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to do this. Like, but you obviously put it out there. Hey, I'm going to try for the Olympics. I'm going to try for a world title, which I tried for as well. Like, and if you fall short, and every boxer can agree, like you just feel, you're like, man, you almost embarrassed, like far out.
Yeah. And so how would you take that low feeling from a professional side to a personal side? You've obviously felt so low on a personal level. Yeah. What's worse, personal level or a professional level?
Oh, I think like personal level, obviously, because professional level, you can fix it. So you can snap out of that real dark hole by a win. Like,
right, there you go.
Silly as it sounds to me personally, others might not agree, but you know that there is light at the tunnel because all you've got to do is win and then everyone forgets about your loss.
Yeah, okay. All right. No,
well, some, but and then you're on this massive high again. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. I lost that fight way back, but hey, I'm a winner now. Look at me go, and other fighters will agree. But, I think when you have other lows in life, when it's, money, emotional, relationship, any sort of other stresses, it's very hard to see the light, and I never got down with all my family court drama, leaving my family, my family stuff, obviously that gets you down, because that's your family. So, maybe cry now, but they are a big tough boxer.
That's beautiful, man.
But because you don't see the light with that, but boxing, man, you look at other people winning, you're like, fuck, they look good. They feel good. I'm going to be that soon. Just takes one win and you're snapped out of it. Yeah. So, I mean, you don't forget it, but you do feel a whole lot better.
So that the family stuff is obviously a very touchy thing for you?
Yeah, definitely. Because we're all stubborn. We're all all stubborn. We're all hot-headed. We're all very like, we'll have our disagreements. And it's now that we're getting older that we're like, oh yeah, you have a comment. Yeah, I sort of wasn't that great back then. We don't say sorry. But
no, honestly, I appreciate you opening up and being in this state of vulnerability.
Yeah.
I definitely really appreciate that. And man, family's a lot to a lot of people too. So and you can see it. You can clearly see it. You're boxing low rather than you're low with your family. You'd rather be able to see the light with your personal life rather than because like you can obviously see how much it hurts you. I really
crazy.
Appreciate you.
But even like now, like we're all growing up now, and we'd have a few drinks after the fight, and we'd talk about back in the day or growing up, and everyone's like, well, so how's the weather?
Oh, really?
We're not we feel emotion, but we're not like a family where we're very emotional and would sit down. Like we wouldn't sit down with mum and dad and be like, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Dad would be like, oh, cut your rot, you snap out of it, and I appreciate that because that's made me who I am now.
Yes.
Back then I hated it. Like I was like, and they don't care or whatever, they just want me to be tough all the time. And that was probably why I left too, because I was like, I couldn't deal, or I didn't know how to deal with things. And it come out in anger. So, but
Fuck, man.
But it's good.
You okay?
It's good now. Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful though.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's really good to have you being vulnerable on here.
Yeah.
I really do like to see that.
And even with my son now, I'm like, like when I was growing up, we weren't big, like we never really said love you. Like I don't remember saying that. That was like, mum and dad were quite tough, and that's good. I like it because I'm tough. But it sort of taught me that with my son, we say I love you, like, and sometimes my friends will be like, oh, I love you. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh,
like
really?
you?
Is it?
It's so hard to say. Like,
why do you think?
I think just growing up, it was like, you've got to be tough, and that's good.
Yeah.
But it
comes with its cost.
It does. But like, I love my friends and family. And now, some of my friends will say, I love you. And I'm like, oh, I love you.
Like, yeah.
Shit, I said it.
Oh, that's good. You're opening up, hey?
Yes, I'm growing up, opening up. So,
right.
Yeah.
And obviously it would suck because what you had as a kid compared to what your son now has.
Yeah.
And your how many other kids do you have?
2.
What? So you got 2 kids, but I don't even know where this other one
I
comes
know.
from. But like, obviously, what would you sort of? I wouldn't say change, but what would you influence a lot more compared to your 2 kids?
I guess I would probably, I am like obviously try and talk to them a little bit more. I still install the toughness in them as well, like don't take any shit, stand for what you believe in. But still trying to have a bit of an open mind where, like if you're feeling down or whatever, you can still come to me and be like, oh, hey, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. And I'm still learning how to parent. Like my parents were, they were still learning when I was growing up. Everyone, you only have one,
there's no
one life
manual.
There's no manual. So it's only now that I'm older, I realize, and I can try and obviously make a difference with my kid. And if the roles were reversed and I was a parent and they were me, they would be doing the same as what what I'm doing. Like, it's not like no one's at fault. But
when did you have your other kid?
my
Boy or girl?
2 girls. So, so 2 girls. I know. So after I went from, when I moved to Brisbane, so I met a guy, and in the gym while I had like my cafe and PTing. So he was like this big dude, totally different from what I've ever seen. Oh, he's like this tan, big gym guy, into bodybuilding and then we obviously started dating. He moved in with me and then, it was great. Like he had a daughter. So it was like my son and then he had his daughter. So it was Brady Bunch. So that was good. And he was going through the same thing as I was with the whole family court stuff, which caused a lot of stress. He's still, obviously going through it now. And then, I kept boxing. I got into obviously the gym a little bit more than I did. And I got to see a bit of a different side of the fitness industry. So the bodybuilding side of it. So that's when I think too really helped me with eating as well. So I would go all day and not eat because I was busy or whatever. But he had obviously taught me, you've got to eat, you've got to, this is if you don't eat this, you don't eat that, you're not going to look like that. I got to understand the bodybuilding side from a real personal, behind closed doors, what they eat, when they're up, like.
Cause you know what's crazy though? Cause you refer to a gym as like a boxing gym.
Yeah.
See, I refer to a gym as like lifting weights and all that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like you're always referring to a gym where it's boxing, but when you say gym and you're like, oh, I'm able to see more what's behind closed doors. It's like, when you're talking about gym the whole time, it's good though that your understanding of a gym is a lot different to what a bodybuilder, what you just said too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. So, so obviously we'd, gotten into the training side and in the gym and that. And then, I was still doing my.
Is that pepper and?
Yep.
Is it actually? Is it
burps? I was like, what?
Oh man, fire out. That's what's making you cry.
It's in my eyes. Boxers don't cry. We're tough. Right. God. So then, so obviously met him and then I had my daughter Frankie. I had her and then she was born and then I got pregnant again in the same year. So I had.
But what you doing, Desley?
No wasting any time. So, so one was born in December and one was born January, one was born December. So they're 11 months apart. Right. So amongst all that.
I was like January and then January, December. I thought that was like a month difference.
No,
11,
My bad. So, and then came another hurdle in life. Obviously, I'd moved to Brisbane and all that sort of stuff, started getting on my feet, met this guy, and then, fell in love, did all that sort of jazz. Then we had the 2 girls. He got himself in trouble. So silly decision, got himself in trouble. So then that left me with 2 kids, 2 babies on my own.
How many was that? 4?
3.
Yeah,
3.
So can't count.
No, yeah.
Fuck that.
It's a hard thing to keep up with this big journey of,
definitely
it's chaos, total chaos. So while I'd, done everything, all these massive hurdles, got to Brisbane, turned pro, everything was looking really sweet. Life was on track. I'm in love. I've got this guy. We just had a baby. Oh, we're pregnant again, got another baby.
Yeah.
Then he does a silly thing and then he has to go to jail.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I'm like, and not many people know that because obviously, you're going to get judged. So,
yeah.
So,
and you're happy to obviously say.
Yeah, well, obviously people aren't silly. So they see me with 3 kids and be like, isn't there a guy involved?
I've seen you.
Yes, and he'd obviously done something silly. It wasn't, murder or anything like that. It was just, he did a silly favor.
Don't have to go
a silly favor for someone, which backfired on him.
Yeah, we don't obviously have to go into detail. And so how did that play on you now?
So then I had to start my life from scratch again. I just had everything sorted, like I'd had my house, I've got my kids, I'm like a new mother. I, was obviously just taking a year off boxing. And then, I had 2 cesareans in the same year. So that's a bit of recovery.
Cause with cesareans, don't you have to have like a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I think it's like, 6 weeks or a couple of months off. Yeah. To get back into, usually 6 weeks, to let everything heal. But then I had 1 kid and then had another kid.
Yeah.
And then obviously, my life fell apart.
Yeah.
And then started all the family court drama again. And then everything kicked on again. So I found myself, I was back to, I've done all this hard work, gone through everything, back to square one. I had to move house. I had to start over. I had to get another job. I had to, still try and make sure I've got 2 babies that I have to look after. I've got my son as well, which I need to be strong for. So, so soldiered on. And then, so I was like, as soon as these babies are, as soon as I'm healed up, I'm going to get back in and I'm going to fight. So Chris was obviously, I was still sort of, he was in the loop with everything. And they've been really supportive, like the whole team, the club, everyone's been supportive because obviously they know people stuff up and it was, just a silly mistake. And they know what people were on. We're not, bad people, you know. So, so I said to Chris, my coach, I'm like, as soon as I'm sweet, we're fighting. And he was like, oh, okay, no worries. Yep, sweet. I believe you. You're a tough bugger. Yeah. Anyways, as soon as I'd done, had my second one and then he all healed up. Yep, sweet. We got a fight lined up in, we fought on No Limits, which are No Limits boxing. So, yeah. So they're quite big at the moment. Fought on that. But before that, I was only a few weeks out. I had to have a hernia operation. So we'd done all this work, lost the baby weight, got really, really fit, had these 2 babies. I needed this fight to get me back in the limelight to say,
Deslo's back.
Deslo's back. Yeah. And then, a few weeks before I had this mad hernia and it was really bad. So I had to have a hernia operation. You're supposed to have, obviously 6 weeks.
Yeah,
again.
Exactly. Yeah.
We didn't have that time. So I just left it a couple of weeks, literally still had the stitches, got in, fought, and then I won. And I was like, sweet. So this opened me up. I was like, my name's out there. I've won on No Limit.
Yeah.
And then became the journey of, snowballing. Let's get another fight. And then at that time I was like, yep, sweet. Boxing doesn't pay a lot. So me being on my own with two babies, trying to fight prep. I've got my son, in school.
Yeah.
I had to work. So I was doing the 2-job thing back again, full-time fighting, doing the 2 jobs. I started doing concreting. The man's job.
Are you sure you're not enough?
Yeah, I know. So breaking all these stereotypes of, girls
awesome,
can't do it. And I was like, I can do this. Wow. I love it. It's the best job. It's so much fun. Yeah. Wow, and, so Aaron from Big Boss, who, shout out to Big Boss. So him and his brother as well, he, gave me hours and then I started out and, we done a little bit. One of my other friends actually gave me some work too from Done Right Concreting, but that's at Sunny Coast. So I was driving, Sunny Coast doing work there. And
determination, man.
I know. So lots of driving, 2 kids, and then I put them in daycare. Obviously they had to go on daycare full time because my parents live 6 hours away. And I don't have like immediate family to, oh, hey, can you babysit? Oh, this one's sick.
Not as easy as just
No, I don't have any, and like my friends, they're busy. They've got their own kids.
Exactly,
so, and I'm don't want to burden anyone. So, so doing lots of traveling, and then, I'm still trying to build up my boxing, my name, who I am, who I stand for, that you can do anything. I work 2 jobs. I'm a full-time athlete. I'm doing a man's job while having 3 kids on my own. And then we kept fighting, kept winning. And, it wasn't easy. It's still not easy, but to have that, like, I've got a really good support network around me now. Like, and obviously having Chris, like, he's a legend. Like, he's like, mate, you're a tough bugger. Like,
yeah, far out. It sounds like it.
And it's always like something, but, I think that whole determination from when I was younger, and I think everything happens for a reason, is now to be so strong and be like, you know what, I can fucking do it.
Yeah,
like,
far. You've done it twice around now.
Yeah. So, and then, obviously we fought. So we had this opportunity with a world title fight, and I was doing, full-time concreting, kids on my own, had, everything, trying to keep my house afloat, paying for this, paying for that, doing the man's job, doing the mum job, as well, trying to be this separate professional athlete.
Well, yeah.
I'm tough, I've got nothing else going on in my life. Yeah. I went up 2 weight divisions and fought for a world title, just fell short.
Oh, what does that fell short? What does that look like?
It was only, a couple rounds, I think. And it was, you had a really good fight, and we're hoping to get a rematch.
Yeah.
So, and we're pushing for that rematch. And my coach came from when I was like 14, he came.
That's awesome.
And, everyone came, my family came, like, I'm at a really good point now where everyone's, we've got this good bond, everyone's, and I think boxing has helped. So no matter what sort of, family dramas, whatever, everyone's come together with boxing as well. So like, even though like I might have a disagreement with my sister or, something like, I don't know.
They're there for boxing.
Then they're like, oh shit, we will support Des, and then we sort of get back together, so. But so then while I was away doing the world title, the girl who I was fighting, she fights full time. She doesn't do anything else.
Was this your most recent one?
Yeah, I
wanted to touch base on that. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but I just wanted to, with all that stuff that was happening with your previous partner, to now, you obviously had a lot of time to redo everything, and to redo it now.
Yep.
Which one was tougher, the first one or the second one?
I think the first one, because it was all sort of new.
Yeah.
And the second rebuilding of my life was a lot easier because I had developed good relationships with people. I've got my coach, my family was there. I had a lot of people there that were, knew who I was. They backed me. Whereas the first time I'd left to a whole new city on my own. No one knew me. No one knew my story. And now it's only that I've been getting, a little bit more publicity and being able to, I've had interviews, and, when you have fights, they interview, oh, you're a girl from the bush, and you're a concreter, and you're a mum of 3 doing it on your own.
That's where I'm like, you left with 1 kid though.
Yeah.
But now, so you had everything and you had to live with 1 kid, but now you lost it all again.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 kids.
3 kids.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna scratch myself back down, but I'm just gonna add something on top.
I know, that's what, there's always something.
And so obviously that would have been hard too.
Man. Yeah, because I was like, oh shit, when you are a new mum and you've got a partner, and you have this lovely, white picket house, you come home and you've got a roast in there. I get home, I'm covered in concrete. I got whinging kids like come home, I'm like, and then I've still got all the noise from my sons,
Exactly.
So I'm like, what? It just makes you tougher. And I think when I'm older, I might write a book or something.
Oh man, I'm so glad that you're on here, because that's what this is for.
Yeah,
Cortez
thank you.
The Journey podcast is to know your journey. And man, it sounds like the juggling is like, how many balls? I don't know how many balls you're juggling.
Yeah, I know. And
can you even juggle?
Yeah, I can actually. My nan taught me how to juggle.
That's why you're so good at juggling all this.
All the 3 kids.
Yeah.
But so it's good. I'm really appreciative to be on here, because I haven't really ever had that. Like people know me and you have conversations with people and they might tell other people, but I have never really had the chance to say, this is what has happened to why I'm here. And like everyone has a story. Like I don't like, poor me. I never want the poor me.
No, definitely.
Because I'm thankful. Like as shit as it was or crappy as it was at that time, it sucked. But now I'm like, you know what, this is good.
Yeah.
You know, and I've learned that from my older sister as well. So she's been a big help, like massive, like, you know, she's been really good. So if I ever had something, you know, that, you know, she'd always says like, you know, let's break the cycle. Let's make our life different. She goes, you know, what's done is done back in there, but let's make our life different. And she goes, you know, everyone stuffs up, and she's been really, really good because I'm still a little bit, you know, F this, you know, I'm a little bit more hot-headed than her, but I think maybe she's getting older than me. No.
You're slowly opening up to see her side of things.
She has a bit more softer side and a bit more of an emotional attachment, or not attachment, and more of an emotional, grasp on things, where I'm more like, you know, it's black or white, you know, get in there, you know, it's head on. Yeah. I'm a bit more of a hot-headed than her, but so it's good to have that balance. So, and then my little sister, she is similar to me. So she's very, you know, she's a lot younger, and I think, you know, her time will come as well with realizing, you know, how everything does happen for a reason. And we're all very similar girls, but we all are quite different too. So in a lot of ways. Yeah.
How would you give advice on juggling your personal and your professional life with everything that you're doing? How does boxing just work both personal and professional?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one. It's sort of, you do have to separate the two, because with boxing, if you don't give it 100%, it's going to affect, and you're not going to succeed. So you have to leave it at the door.
How do you mentally leave it at the door?
Well, you either do that or you learn the hard way
and lose,
and you go in for sparring. So I know I've had days where I've had so much stuff go on, like you would not read about it. Yeah. And I've gone in and I've been like,
you wanted to read a book, right?
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
You know, and I've gone in and I've gone in for sparring and I've just been scattered and I've got my head punched in. And then like my coach is like, you know, I could see you weren't there, and like he understands me. God love him. Thank you for putting up with me. But so he, you know, like obviously you've got a coach to help, but you learn the hard way. You do learn the hard way. You have to leave it at the door. So because while I was inspiring, I was thinking about all this other stuff, and I was getting bashed up. Yeah. I don't want that to happen again. So boxing's, it's so good for like your own mental development, like your own, you know, and it's not for everyone. People might do ballet and that's their escape, you know, like it's just been the best thing for me to keep me.
What advice would you give to separate it? You want to separate?
Oh, no, you're right. My name's just running from crying. The pepper is the pepper.
Yeah, it's the pepper, sorry.
Yeah.
And the baking set. Did you taste the baking powder?
No, all pepper.
Fuck. Anyway, what would you give advice to separating that? Like, what does that look like?
I think you've got to try and get organized, like do as much as you can, you know, put it down on paper, try and get it out of your head. And then, I mean, it's hard. Like with boxing, you have to. Yeah. That's the thing. You have to do it all. It's going to backfire on you. So I think just try and obviously be as organized as you possibly can, and then try and think of ways to help out with, you know, dealing with your stress, dealing with like being overwhelmed and that. But the best thing, like you just have to, it takes time, and you do learn obviously better ways of coping, you know, talk to your family, have that relationship with your coach where you could say, hey, look, I've just had court, like, you know, this morning, I'm really sorry. But you've got to be open, and it's like, I never want to be, pull me, you know, but you've got to be open with, you know, obviously your coach, and just say, hey, look, I've just had something go down. But your coach is obviously, I think, you know, I owe a lot to my coach, because if I didn't have him, I would be just scattered and going in. So you've got to have that good support network.
Shout out to your coach, eh?
Yes, wow. Chris.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The big little man.
That's cool. And so obviously your prep is all about just focusing on the fight. So has there ever been a fight where it's just been like, fuck, I've brought in so much other shit that I shouldn't have into this fight that you obviously needed to do while you're in prep?
Yeah. What fight would it be? What fight? I think mainly, I mean, it could be the couple times I've lost. I think, I don't know. I think because the fight was so close as well that I've lost. I've never gone into a fight and just stood there and got, you know, beat up.
You've always worked.
I've always worked quite hard in there. I think all that noise would would affect your prep, you know? More so the prep.
In the prep. So
in the prep,
what is that saying for an individual if it affected them in the ring?
Yeah. So obviously if your prep's not 100%, you've got to prepare. You've got to give your prep 100%. You've got to be, you know, switched on for sparring. You've got to get up. You've got to do your weights training. You've got to, if you're not scheduling that and keeping into a good tight schedule, if you miss a training session, that's going to affect you in your fight. So it's not necessarily like, because when you're in the ring, you forget about all the outside noise. I don't care about anything else, but when I'm in there, I'm just focused on that. But in saying that, if my prep was getting affected, my fitness wouldn't be, you know, up,
just continue to
and I would be a bit more tired in my fight. It's not, it'd be come out maybe more of like, you know, you'd be a bit more mentally drained, you know, you wouldn't have that real fast reflexes switched on type of thing. So I think that's where your prep needs to be really calculated. So, because as fighters know when you get in there, and I mean, some fighters might be different. They might get in there and their head could be elsewhere too. So everyone's a little bit different, but I do think that fighters are all quite similar. But when you get in there, you are just focused on that.
Yeah, that's
but
pretty
if
cool.
you've missed training sessions because you've been stressed about something, your fitness isn't going to be good in
show.
there. Yeah, it will show. Yeah,
man,
so
that's
man,
that's it. And do you think boxing has a lot to do with a lot of life lessons outside of the ring?
Yeah, definitely. As in, I think a big thing is staying away from temptation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
like Mundine is like, he preaches that. You know, I've had heaps of chats with Mundine about the whole temptation thing, you know. It does keep you on the straight and narrow while you think that you're missing out on these parties, these festivals, these, you know, doing this, doing that. It's not, because all that crap's going to be there. You know, the same people partying, sitting around the same table, doing the same conversations with the same hangover on Sunday. That's going to be there for as long as they let it be there. Whereas if you've got boxing and the rewards from it and how it makes you feel when you are a champion, like, you can't compare that. That is a better high than getting on drugs. You know, like completely different
feeling
high.
like shit on a Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. Because that high lasts for like the night. Then the next day you regret it. So whereas this is a bit more long term, it's a different addiction, I think.
That's pretty cool though. So your high though, because you've obviously left on a high when you've won a fight. How does that build up to the next fight? What's your expectations like? What's the pressure of society like for you? You obviously have to, you have to maintain your.
I think too, when you have won, you think, you know, everyone sees me as a winner. Everyone sees me as a champion. You don't want to let people down either. You know, people have brought tickets, people have brought tables, people have traveled. You got people wearing your shirts in there. You're like, I don't want to let anyone down. And that's the main thing, is like, you do put a lot of pressure on yourself. And sometimes you might have a fight where it's a crappy call, you know, like it's so close, or, you know, they just didn't go in your favor. Like, and that sucks too, you know, because you know you won. Everyone else knows you've won. And obviously the end of the day, it's like, you didn't. So you've got to obviously not keep everyone happy, but you know,
And you'd obviously feel guilty, right? And so how do you separate that?
I think it's like guilty if you don't win. I think everyone's understanding though. So you know what I mean? Like all your supporters, all your family, it's hard to separate it, but they do help you get over it. If you know what I mean? Like, cause they, you know, they make you feel good. They're like, oh, hey, you know, you're doing better than me. I'm just in the crowd watching. You're in there performing. And so they help you get over it. Your coaches, your teammates. And you get over it over time, but you never forget. So it is hard to separate the two, but I mean, you have to have a good support network around you.
Definitely.
Even though you are quite strong as a boxer and tough and whatnot, like, it gets you down because it's your image.
It's only you. See, football is different because it's like, it's a team sport.
Yes, you might have a crappy game, but you can still win.
Exactly. You could still look good because of the other players.
Exactly.
Whereas with you, it's like, nah, everything shows.
It's all on you, But I still like that because I'm quite independent and I still want to only rely on me. I don't want to rely on other people either. Like, I want to, at the end of the day, like if I won, I want to know that was my hard work on me. And if I lost, then that's on me. And then I've got to fix things. I've got to work harder. I've got to, you know, make it better. So you've got no one else to blame but yourself. Like, and even when I did play rugby and that, like if we had lost a game, I would still blame the loss all on me.
That's normally how it goes.
I could have done more. I could have scored more tries. I could have, you've got a whole team there.
Exactly,
So that's why I think I've sort of gone, like, boxing suits me more, because whether or not I've got a full team behind me, I'm still blaming me for all of their mistakes, all of my mistakes.
It's good that you can understand that, and you know, okay, where if I've lost, I've lost it because it's on me. You know, and it's not blaming them. You know, so.
And I don't blame anyone, like, for anything really. Like, you're your own person. You're, end of the day, you make the choices. You say yes or no. You know, people can try and persuade you, but you're the one that still, end of the day, says yes or no.
Yeah, so, far out, man. I want to talk about the most recent fight that you've that you had. You know, I can still see it just balls.
So annoying.
You know, tell us about it. Tell us about it. How was that prep?
So the prep was great. I was lucky enough we got sidetracked after the world title. We got sidetracked here. After the world title fight, my opponent was training full time, and I had an interview and said, "Look, man, I would love to be a full-time athlete. How good would that be?
Not being a concrete,
concreting. You know, even though I love it, not concreting, and I could just train every day
because that would take a lot on you. The concrete, man. Yeah, exactly.
So that came back to this. Answering this question, I got the opportunity when I got back. One of my friends, who'd obviously seen me grow up in Moranbah, he was a great footy player, you know, in with the town, like a bit of a, you know, local hero. He just a local legend. He is great bloke. So he's got his own developing company, and when I'd got back from obviously losing the fight, and he's like, you know, look, I want to offer you the opportunity. I'm going to sponsor you as a full-time athlete. And I was like, get out of town.
Oh, fuck.
Get out of town.
Awesome.
And I was like, no way. And he was already sponsoring me anyway, but he's like, look, I'm happy to obviously, you know, pay you a wage or whatnot, and whatever he sort of works out. And he goes, you know, to give you the best opportunity at being a full-time athlete. So I was like, yep, sweet, done. Not going to let you down. Then comes this most recent fight. So my fight prep for this recent fight was training full-time athlete. I had a strength and conditioning coach. I had a proper diet to follow. I had scheduled sessions, morning sessions, running, weights, you name it. Everything was done to an absolute T. My fitness was great. Mentally, I didn't care about all the other noise. I've passed that. I've got so much strength now that you could throw a court date at me before I fight and I wouldn't even blink an eye.
Oh, wow,
I'm
that's
sweet.
Awesome.
You know, like I don't care about anything else, but you know, I'm an athlete now and I'm a mum and I want to prove to my kids. So got to fight night and I'd already fought this girl in amateurs and she had just slid through in amateurs as well. So we'd already had that bit of rivalry. And I knew that I had better in amateurs, but I was like, hey, you know, I'm just a mum, you know, I'm not in the AIS. Yeah. Fair enough. You have your win. Go for it. I'll beat you later in pros. Come pro night, she wins.
Oh, fuck.
So I went through all this full time, got this sponsorship, you know, got interviewed for the fight night. Oh, hey, I'm an athlete and I've really made it in my life and career, and I lost. So I didn't lose. I don't have to say anything about the fight. I don't need to buy into it. I don't need to say I'm not a sore loser. She can have her win, but you just have to ask everybody else, judges, promoters, other companies, other fighting promotions, coaches, you name it, the entire of Australia. I still have messages I haven't answered of people saying, hey, I watched the fight and that was BS or whatever. Wow. But you know what? That's
Who
boxing.
Was the opponent?
Kay Scott. So she's like Commonwealth Games, I think bronze medalist and whatnot. And she's been in boxing a long time too. So, and what annoys me is that, you know, like I knew I won, you know.
Okay, so how are we dealing with that?
I think.
How long has it been now?
When was that? That was, how long ago was that? I think, like 6 weeks ago?
Not long, eh? Not that long.
Not that long, no. 6 or 8 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks. But I think if I stood in the ring and I got completely beaten and
would have been a different story.
You know, got knocked out or something, then I would be feeling, oh man, this sucks. Like afterwards, I was more disappointed in the sport itself, more disappointing in the judging, thinking, you know, like people work their butts off to get here and it takes 3 guys to change that for one person by them not watching the real fight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, and that's happened to a lot of boxers, and a lot of boxers have reached out to me and saying, hey, this is the reason why I've quit boxing.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And they were awesome boxers.
Yeah.
And they just said the politics, the crappy
bias.
scoring, the biasness, like then, they were just, they said this is exactly why, and me being stubborn after the fight, I was, you know what, boxing, I've worked my entire life to get here and I get ripped off, but I didn't I didn't want to crack up being like a sore loser.
Yeah.
Whatever, is what it is. Still did my shoey after.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Still did that. The crowd was still, you're still a winner in our eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, went back to the room and I was like, F this. I am done with boxing. You can stick it. And then it wasn't sort of, later on I thought, no, you know what? I'll beat her again.
Yep.
I'll just,
Come back better.
I've got more to give.
Yeah.
She doesn't. That's her best performance.
Yeah.
Like, might not have been, but I think that was her best performance.
Yeah.
I've got so much more to give.
Yeah.
And I knew we were winning. We didn't get out of second gear. Like we were just cruising. And I've had fights where it's been like life and death, blood, going crazy, getting back to the corner thinking, oh man, I actually don't want to be here today.
Wow.
And then you get back in the ring and you want to be there,
Yeah.
like a head game like that. And this one was good. I had fun. Like I was engaging the crowd. Even did like a heel clicker.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah,
Fuck,
we're winning.
that's good as.
And like the crowd was cheering, all my family and friends. And, like my daughters, their grandparents were there, everyone was there, like on my, both sides of the families were there. So I had a lot of support and it was just, I don't know. I just think,
Does it hurt you still?
Oh, it doesn't hurt me. It's just, I'm disappointed.
In the sport?
In the sport itself, I knew, I should have known better knowing that obviously she's new in the pro scene. They're probably going to watch her a bit more than me.
Yeah.
But, I didn't get out of second gear really. I was just cruising. I come back to the corner. Everyone was like, yep, we're sweet.
You didn't need to get out of second
gear? I
gear?
didn't need to because I knew we were winning. I wasn't getting hit.
Yeah.
I've had fights where my lips been split, I had blood pouring out and I was like, oh, damn. This fight was like, I wasn't sore the next day.
That's
like,
weird, hey?
I was just like, but then in saying that and feeling that I should have, in hindsight, gone in, taken a head off, went crazy. And not left it in the judges.
Exactly. Yeah. So you should have just, now you can just reassess it, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. And I think too, like a lot of my life experiences help with boxing too. It's like, that really sucked. It was a crappy time in my life, but hey, lesson learned.
Fuck.
Lesson learned, learn from it, move on, make it different, do it better, and then you win.
That's
like
good.
get better, whatever. Yeah.
That's good with that right mindset though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's obviously a lot of people out there that lose and they just stay there.
They stay there. Yeah.
So what advice would you give them for that?
Oh man, get up and try again.
Yeah.
Like, what have you got to lose? What, you're going to lose again? Like, so what? Do it a different way. Like, get up and try. Like, and I think maybe, it comes from, who you are. I think your upbringing definitely helps a bit too, but it's just life experiences really and how strong mentally you are. Like, if you want something, you will make it happen. And like, that's why I've gone into the whole yes you can phase, quote as such, but because I swear a lot, mine's yes you effing can, you fucking can, like it's not yes you can, yes you fucking can, you can do it.
There's more emphasis on it, right?
Yes, and like probably doesn't look that great swearing, but you can do it. Like, people just give up too easy as well. Like, and I think a lot of outside noise and people are so judgy. Who cares what old mate? He's sitting on the couch, overweight, unfit, can't even get in a ring, or she or he. They're judging you online. Are they in there? No.
Nowhere. They're probably nowhere near who you are.
I don't get negative, I'm sure there's negative feedback out there, but I don't receive, I'm not a huge famous person yet. So I don't receive all the massive comments, whatever.
You know what would have been cool? It's like, how I think in like dance battles, like in movies that you see, whichever dance crew won the most, makes the most noise. That
goes to the end, the decider.
Yeah, that would have been better, right?
100%.
That would have been better than the school.
My crowd was like yelling, and I got interviewed after, and they said, what do you think about that? And I was like, well, what do you guys reckon? And everyone was like, whoa, So I was like, I actually don't have to say anything because I'm just going to let everyone else let everyone else talk for me. So we're all sort of, we've got a good group of people. It's going to be a fun night. And I feel, like if I can help, kids or anyone really, not even kids, adults, everyone's at, different time of their lives, like get to a point where I am now. Like I'm not finished yet. I've still got other things I want to do. Like, just sort of inspire and help others.
That feel valued, I guess, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. And we've gone through some.
I know. We're
gone through some
story time.
Yeah, hey, how do you feel?
Yeah, good. Yeah. I appreciate it.
I know. I appreciate you coming on, having some pepper and baking powder. No, that was awesome. No, I really appreciate you coming on. I just want to wrap things up and give you a little bit of a say in what you would like to give to your audience and how they can get out of what you got out of, and just some advice.
Yeah, I think stick to your guns. I guess there is light at the tunnel, even though you can't see it straight away. And absolutely nothing is easy. Like if you want something and you want something like you will get it.
Yeah.
You will definitely get it. You just have to stick to it, be a little bit stubborn and determined.
Right, there you
but
go.
it's not going to be easy, but it definitely will happen.
Nah,
yeah,
that's
100%.
awesome.
You just have to be stubborn.
Yeah, well,
just
there you
stick
go.
to it.
There it is, the word stubborn.
Yeah.
Who do you want to give a shout out to? Say thank you to.
Oh, thank you to yourself.
Hey,
yeah, thank you so
thank
much.
for the pepper.
And
nah,
stitching
that's
me
fine.
up. Opportunities like this don't come around often, and like I've never been able to.
Oh, this is awesome.
This
I
is
feel
a
privileged.
really, I'm appreciative of it. And hopefully, we can, obviously spread the word and spread what you're doing. Like you're doing, wonders. Like,
appreciate that.
absolute legend. So, and thanks to obviously everyone that's gotten me to where I am, and helped me with every aspect of my life. Emotional, mental, physical, everything.
That's beautiful.
It's a team effort with everything you do, really.
Oh, 100%.
So
Always got to have a solid team and community around you.
Yep.
Dezo, thank you. Dezo 2.0.
2.0.
Thank you so much for coming on, guys. Make sure you subscribe this channel, okay? Because there's some more awesome guests just like Dezo, okay? If you want more inspiring stories and empowering stories, make sure you tune in. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Dezo.
Thank you.
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take these off.
I'm so sweaty. Oh, it sounds real weird.
Welcome to the vibe where your dreams take flight. Cortez, so you know we're gonna shine so bright. Unity is how we rise. Join us in this journey and we'll take you to ride, yeah. We'll take you to rise, no. We'll take